expected, the 1994 Bud Mogul Series started with some surprises. The top skier of the series disappeared early, and the winner came out of retirement about an hour before the event. We moved to Winter Park, Colorado, where a steeper hill and a crazed bunch of mogul skiers will try it all again. The Bud Mogul Series is next on ESPN. Skies and fresh powder have blessed the Colorado Rockies, and we're ready for the second stop of the Bud Mogul Series from Winter Park, Colorado. It's the Paul Mitchell Cup. Hi everybody, I'm Duffy Wilson, and welcome to Colorado's favorite ski resort, Winter Park. Last week in Breckenridge, Scott Koff came out of retirement 1 hour before the competition and won, and we're expecting nothing but that same excitement here in Winter Park. Joining me on the telecast, our ESPN ski analyst and Olympic bronze medalist Nelson Carmichael. He's not here with me, he's up sitting on the red course.
Duffy, sometimes it's hard to tell just exactly how big these jumps are that these competitors are going off. Right now I'm sitting on the second air over on the red course. And you know, when these competitors are dueling down here, they're going to be flying off this jump about 10 feet in the air and landing about 30 feet down the hill. It's just another element of freestyle, of mogul skiing that makes it so exciting. I'm looking forward to it.
The 1994 Bud Mogul Series is brought to you by Budweiser, Beechwood aged for a clean, crisp, classic taste. And by Paul Mitchell Salon Hair Care, for vibrant hair, nourished and cared for by the elements of our earth. Welcome back to Winter Park, Colorado's favorite resort, favored by some and not by others. Scott Koff, our #1 seed, looked very good. Cameron Boyle also skied well.
Yeah, both these guys had fairly simple matchups, and they got through this round fine, actually. No trouble at all. They took it fairly easy, got down through the finish line. Of course, the judges went their way, and they're into the next round.
But it was not a very popular resort for Scott Rawls and Bad Red Bumpin' Brad.
Yeah, unfortunately, Scott Rawls landed that jump, and we think hurt his back. We're not sure. Hopefully we'll have word on him that he's okay. And, of course, Bad Rad had a good run, but he was slower, and he went against an opponent that had some exciting airs. And his opponent, of course, got the victory there. John Grugel, he went on, and Holmes is out.
One tour champ is out. Two tour champs are in. Let's go to the start. 85 skiers started this morning in Winter Park. We are down to 16. Our first round, in this round of 16, we'll see Breckenridge's Mike Rawls on the blue course and five-time tour champion Scott Koff from Vail, Colorado on the red.
Red course ready, blue course ready, racers ready,
go!
And out of the gate, it looks real even, no barges. Mike Rawls got a little bit of a jump on Scott Koff. You're going to come to that first jump. Big Cossack there, spread, twister, spread. Not real defined, a small twister there by Scott Koff. Koff had a little bit of trouble landing, but Mike Rawls, you can see, had a little bit of trouble right there. Scott Koff passes Mike Rawls up. Oh! And Scott Koff did not get off that jump very well. Mike Rawls, a nice double daffy, trying to pick up the speed. Boy, we'll see what happens on this run.
All right, nice duel there. Time differential at the finish line. It'll be red course crossing.
Scott Koff had some trouble coming into the second air, gets back on his tails a little bit, and then he gets all crossed up and ends up going off the side of the mogul. Gets a little spread in, but it's not going to count for much against Mike Rawls with that big double daffy.
Will it happen again? Mike Rawls.
And on the blue course, Mike Rawls is the first skier to advance out of the round of 16. A close call, 13-12.
Good work, Mike Rawls.
All right, Nelson, let's talk about the judging. Professional mogul skiing head-to-head is a judged event. How do you win?
Well, that's right, Duffy. And you got to win by obviously getting the majority of the judges' points, and those points are awarded by 5 judges, panel of 5 judges, and each of those 5 judges can give out a total of 5 points, and they can split those points 4-1, 3-2, 2-3, depending on how they see it. Now, there's 2 turns judges. There's 1 for air, there's 1 for speed, and there's 1 for overall. So you want to get at least 13 points out of 25, and you're moving on.
We go back to the top of the course. It'll be Chris Drops from Breckenridge, Colorado, former World Cup competitor. He'll be going up against Bobby Aldegary from Killington, Vermont, another World Cupper out here on the Pro Tour.
Ready, go!
Out of the gate, looks like Bobby had a bit of a jump right there, but Chris is caught up. First jump pretty even. Twister spreads, drops, and a nice helicopter from Bobby. Drops us right in that line, just looking through the line nicely. Algary's trying to catch up here, and it looks like he has it. He's got big speed coming. Doesn't get a very good jump off. Algary goes down. Meanwhile, Chris Drops is looking real good through the finish. What a great race.
Bobby Algary pressing very hard on the lower section of the course, as he is known to do. Chris Drops with a very solid run. Chris Drops thanks the judges for the big win, 17-8. He's in the round of 8. Klaus Holm is at the top of the course against Jeff McKittrick. It'll be McKittrick on the blue course, and Holm from Sweden, now doing his skiing in Vail, will be on the red.
Red course ready, blue course ready, racers ready, go!
They both look pretty even out of the start. Klaus Holm over the reds looking good, but so is McKittrick into that first jump. McKittrick with the helicopter a little bit in the back, and he's trying to hang on that landing. Klaus Holm looking good. He landed that jump well for this course.
Jeff McKittrick had to let his tails down, put the brakes on. Klaus Holm is right with him, but he gets in the back seat on the lower section of the course.
Well, he certainly did. Had some great skiing and had a good jump up there. A nice triple maneuver. Not real big, but he landed a little bit on his tails, and they flew through that finish line.
And McKittrick, a crazy guy with some crazy skiing in the middle section of the course.
Yeah, McKittrick's letting it all hang out. He's excited to be here in the big rounds with the big boys, and he is letting them fly.
Klaus Holm shakes hands with Jeff McKittrick, and Klaus Holm, seeded number 3, is in the round of 8 skiers. Our final 2 skiers in this round of 16 skiers, John Grugel, the butcher from Breckenridge, is on the blue course. Scotty Hall, also of Breckenridge, Colorado, is on the red.
Red course ready, blue course ready, racers ready, go!
Those guys are pumped up, Nelson. They're louder than the starter.
They certainly are. Grugel got a bit of a jump into that first air, got a nice Cossack off, but he's in trouble a little bit there. Meanwhile, Hall's looking pretty good. Grugel's still catching up from that trouble he had in the landing the first jump.
Scotty Hall looking good in the middle section of the course, and Grugel having trouble off the lower air. Scotty Hall having trouble in the finish. Hall with a huge crash.
Let's hope that Scott Hall is all right on that horrible crash.
Nelson, take a look at this crash.
Scott Hall snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. He thought he had it and gets crossed up going over the finish line and goes looping over the finish line. Just a horrific crash, but he's okay.
Scotty Hall is fine, and John Grugel is feeling grand himself, as Grugel will advance on the blue course 15-10. You don't go from snowplow to moguls overnight, but it almost seems that fast here at Winter Park, Colorado. The ski school starts with the very youngest skiers and moves up to the teenage competitors on the Winter Park ski team. The Paul Mitchell spotlight is on the Winter Park Ski School and their expert instructors.
The thing that you don't want to do is hold kids back. They want to progress, you have to allow them to do that.
We're looking for ability level, you know, sort of a natural ability level. Some of the kids accelerate quite quickly, are ready to go up the mountain quite a bit sooner than some of the others.
And what we should try to do is just make some really nice little turns, stay in control, and let's ski together.
You guys ready? Yeah. Let's fire it up. All right.
This is the Winter Park Freestyle team. We have a lot of kids on our team that vary from ages from 9 all the way up to 25. We mostly emphasize a lot of good mogul skiing, carving, and a lot of tip pressure, but a lot of these guys are competitors, and today we'll be doing some aerial maneuvers in the bumps and just trying to get them to prepare for contests that they'll be having soon in the upcoming weeks.
Coming up next on the Bud Mogul Series, it'll be Back East We Go, Sunday River, Maine, next week, January 16th, 4 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN. We're ready for the quarterfinals here in Winter Park. 8 skiers are moving on. It'll be Mike Rawls and Dave Hill.
Should be a good matchup right here. They're both psyched.
Chris Drops and Cameron Boyle both skiing very well.
Exactly. Chris Drops especially, and Boyle always skis well.
Klaus Holm will meet last year's Tour champ, Chuck Martin.
Two great styles here. Martin winning before, last year's champion. Klaus Holm, Sweden, another good matchup right there.
Chris Carson, no surprise. John Grugel, a surprise in this top 8.
You never know what's going to happen down in this duel.
Let's go find out. Mike Rawls will be up first in this round on the blue course, and Dave Hill will be on the red.
Ready, go!
Out of the gate pretty evenly, that blue course. The one that Mike Rawls on has a little bit of advantage coming out of the start, however. And there's a big Cossack, a little bit rough. His legs weren't quite straight, but he landed it pretty well. Meanwhile, Hill had a little bit of trouble as well, landing his jump. Looked pretty even at this point.
Dave Hill with great turns in the middle section of the course. That red line between the jumps is very nice as they make their way to the finish line. Our first pair in the quarterfinals, Hill and Rawls.
Hill with all the speed, but Rawls with all the air down at the bottom.
Dave Hill advances by a very close margin, 13-12 over Breckenridge's Mike Rawls. This could be the best round. As we go to the quarterfinals, it'll be Chris Drops on the blue course, Cameron Boyle on the red course. Cameron Boyle from Squaw Valley, grew up in Killington. Chris Drops out of Breckenridge, Colorado. Both have skied very well.
Racers ready, go!
And right there, Boyle gets a jump, but as you can see, that blue course catches up very quickly, drops off a little bit, first twist was spread there, and a nice maneuver by Cameron Boyle, and they're both right back in the line. Look at this duel going.
Chris Drops with great turn, Cameron Boyle. This is a great matchup, but Drops right now is on his way very quickly with nice turns to the finish line on the blue course.
What a beautiful run there by Chris Drops. One of the best runs all day, got a nice triple maneuver in at the bottom. Wasn't very defined, not real big tricks, but great maneuver nonetheless, and came to the finish line. Cameron just a little bit too slow for Chris Drops. Chris Drops lets him run into the second air, gets a good takeoff, spread, twister, spread. As I say, not real big with the maneuvers, but he got him in, great landing, and picked up the speed with some turning through the finish.
And Chris Drops advances with a great run and a great score, 15-10. The average race takes about 25 seconds to complete. We're going to slow that down for you as my partner, Nelson Carmichael, takes the course apart section by section. Doctor.
Now the first order of business is right here at the start. It's really important in these quick, fast duels to get a good start. So right as you think about is getting the poles planted firmly in the snow, getting your tails up against the kickback gate, looking down the course, thinking about really just these first few turns and looking at that first air. But you don't want to be too far ahead of yourself, because then you can get hesitant or get apprehensive and not know what's going on. So I really want to be in the now, thinking about these first few turns. And then you want to blast out of the gate as fast as you can. Now hopefully you got a good start and got a good jump on your competitor, and now you're in this very first section of the course, looking at this first air bump, heading right into it. All right, so let's give it a go. Okay, now I've landed the first jump successfully. Now I've got a little time to think. Not so much relax, but I've got some time to take a look at this middle section of the course where you can really let it go. You can jam on through here. Nice, clean, tight skiing. You want to have the judges' eyes on you in this course and be ahead of your competitor. Okay, now at this point, I really don't have much of an idea what's going on next door here beside me with my competitor, but it's really the final chance to make a good impression on the judges and get an excellent jump off this bottom air and onward through the finish line. I've given it my best shot on that second air. Now it's a matter of jamming on through the finish as fast as I can go. Feet of 5 burning, adrenaline pumping action.
Klaus Holm will be up next on the blue course. He'll be going up against Chuck Martin on the red course. Klaus Holm is a student of the University of Skiing in Vail. Chuck Martin, skiing out of Killington, Vermont. He's a student at the University of Colorado.
Red course ready, blue course ready, racers ready, go!
Klaus Holm gets the jump and will get more of a jump as that blue course is faster on top. Here he comes. Klaus Holm, spread, twister, spread. Slightly small. Chuck Martin there with a really nice twister, double maneuver. And they're coming down to the middle part of the course nicely.
Chuck Martin skiing very well on the red course, and he is catching up to that air, but Klaus Holm has got a beeline to the finish line in that round.
Daffy twisters by both of them off the bottom jump, but Klaus Holm was ahead all the way down. Daffy twister from Chuck Martin gets a good Daffy, gets a little bit hung up on the twister, his hand a little high, but gets it in nonetheless, and onward through the finish line.
Chuck Martin congratulates Klaus Holm on his 15-10 victory. Martin stays here, and Holm moving on. Up next on the blue course, it'll be Chris Carson out of Frisco, Colorado, skiing Keystone and 8 Basin. He told me he used to clean the lounge here at Winter Park. He'll be going up against John Grugel, also of Breckenridge. Grugel on the red, Carson on the blue.
Blue course ready, racers ready, go!
An even start, Nelson. It's Carson on the blue course and Grugel on the red.
Very even so far. Carson off first. They both do some big Cossacks there. I think Grugel's was a little bit bigger as they come to this middle part of the course. They're a little bit wobbly here now.
They're both carrying a lot of speed, letting their tails down. Carson having trouble in the middle section, and Grugel is long gone to the finish. Not a lot of turns by either competitor on the lower section of the course. They will now wait for the judges to decide who gets another ride. Nelson, both skiers tail heavy in the middle of the course. Too much speed?
Not a very clean duel here. Both these guys are getting a little wild, letting it run, getting back. They're just kind of getting through this duel. Not very pretty skiing.
And there is Chris Carson's family slapping high fives in the finish. Chris's dad there, a skier himself with that long ponytail going, yeah, Chris, way to go. And his mom's going, go get him. Carson advances. Welcome back to Winter Park, Colorado. A very cold day, but some very hot skiing.
4 hot skiers remaining, Dave Hill and Chris Drops. Chris Drops has been skiing excellent today. Klaus Holm and Chris Carson are going to match up in what should be an excellent matchup as well. Klaus Holm very consistent today.
That's the setup for the semifinals. Let's go to the start. Dave Hill will come out first on the blue course, and Chris Drops, for the first time today, will be on the red course.
Ready, blue course ready, racers ready, go!
Come on, Dave. And a good start once again on the blue course from Dave Hill. He'll be down to that first jump first. Here comes Chris Drops right behind him. Spread there, and a nice twister spread from Chris Drops. They're looking good down to the middle. Good skiing going on right here.
Hilby had a little trouble getting off of that landing. Chris Drops is getting into the jump. Hill has to pass the lower jump.
And Chris Drops cruising through. He got a little bit back on his tails there, but he got his jump in. Dave Hill ran into a bunch of trouble by that second air.
Nelson, you said oh. What were you oh-ohing about?
Dave Hill runs into big trouble right before the second air, gets all caught up, twisted up. He's across himself, can't get off the jump very well. It's over for him.
Chris Drops is the winner in the semifinals against Dave Hill. 16-9 the score. We go back to the start. Klaus Holm and Chris Carson are up next, the final 4. This is the last 2. Holm will be on the blue course. Chris Carson will be on the red.
Let's see what happens here. We've got another great matchup in the bottom of the semifinal bracket.
Blue course ready, racers ready, go!
An even start a little quickly for Klaus Holm, and he's on his way to the first air.
Nice jump there by Klaus Holm. You can see Chris Carson. He got off pretty big air, but he's over on the side. He's over the fence. What's he doing over there?
He's skiing the old man line, as Mike Rawls would call it, but Chris Carson is no old man. A young man skiing very quickly to the finish line. Carson and Holm just rocketing down Norwegian here in Winter Park. Carson moving to the extreme left side of the course, Nelson.
That's right, he's way over by the fence. It happened from that first jump. He took an angle that brought him way over by the fence, and he ended up skiing that line all the way down to that second air. It's not where you want to be in this mogul run.
Klaus Holm wins over Chris Carson. The score, 15-10. There's our two finalists here in Winter Park. It's going to be Chris Drops going up against Klaus Holm. Welcome back to Winter Park, Colorado, the second stop of the Bud Mogul Series. This Paul Mitchell Cup is down to 4 skiers. 2 skiers on the consolation side and 2 skiers in the finals for the big money. As we look now to the battle for 3rd and 4th place, it'll be Chris Carson skiing on the blue course. He'll be going up against Dave Hill on the red course. Carson out of Frisco, Colorado, skis for Keystone A Basin. Dave, the Thrill Hill from Vail.
Red course ready. Blue course ready. Racers ready. Go!
Last night of the gate, looks like a good start. Dave Hill got an excellent start there on the red course. It's been tough to get out of that fast. Twister spread there by Carson, and a big spread by Dave Hill.
Carson skiing well on the blue course and well ahead of Hill, as we see now some great knees out of Dave Hill as they come to the lower jump.
Happy twister spread there. Chris Carson, he's been ahead most of the way down. Had some great turns. Dave Hill's been trying to catch up.
Into the finish line come the men looking for that 3rd, but possibly a 4th place finish. Chris Carson and Dave Hill.
Chris Carson had some great skiing. He was really thinking about his skiing, not just letting it all hang out. Very consistent, had a great dash twister spread on the bottom, led the whole way down the race.
And Chris Carson takes 3rd place here in Winter Park, and Dave Hill will settle for 4th. 2 skiers are left in this competition. Chris Drops has been skiing extremely well, and he's on his favorite blue course. Klaus Holm has been no slouch. He'll be on the red course, Nelson.
Can't wait for this.
Red
Let's
course
see the
ready.
start.
Blue course ready. Racers ready. Go!
Andy Weiss sends him onto the course. It's Chris Drops on the blue course and Klaus Holm on the red.
Off the first drop, twister spread there for Chris Drops. Oh, and a spread twist. Oh, my, they pulled the drop. They is still even.
Both skiers having problems, and now it's anybody's professional roller race to the finish as they land side by side. Holm and Drops into the finish. Who won? Who lost? Let's go to the judges.
What a tough call that is. They both had 3 or 4 mistakes.
They skied so well, Nelson, all day long. Drops especially skied perfectly. Holm the same. They come out into this final revved up, and they really, really made it tough on themselves. And Chris Drops wins. And you can see Chris going, I didn't ski that well, but he skied well enough to be #1 here in Winter Park. Chris Drops, #1, Klaus Holm, #2. Some crazy skiing going on by both of these gentlemen at the top of the hill. We can see them both come down. Drops just about goes off into the crowd. Holm had problems first, and then they come to the lower air. Watch this, they almost land together, and now it's a race to the finish as they both say, I'm gonna get that speed, Judge. I want that big check in Winter Park. Our winner, Chris Drops, is down in the finish with Nelson Carmichael.
What a final it was, Duffy. We saw some great skiing by both these guys, Klaus Holm and Chris Drops earlier, but in that final round, it was wild skiing. Chris, what happened in that final round?
Well, I mean, I could contribute to what happened to a lot of things. I mean, I was kind of tired. It was my 7th race duel. I wasn't seated in 16, so I had to work a little bit harder to get to here. But otherwise, I think just a little bit too amped, and the rocks didn't help much up there. But it was fun no matter what. It was good.
Well, great skiing, and congratulations on your first pro victory.
Thanks, Nelson.
Outdoor Products Big Air of the day goes to Scotty Hall. And Scotty, we're sorry, but this was big air as we see you get upside down through the finish. The best part of it all is you were okay. The 1994 Bud Mogul Series is brought to you by Budweiser, Beechwood aged for a clean, crisp, classic taste, and by Outdoor Products, backpacks made right here in the USA. Announcers clothing provided by Mountain Goat. This program is a presentation of Bud Sports and CE Sports in association with ESPN.